Two friends from Iowa finding out what's beyond the living after death. C&R isn't just about the paranormal. It's about bringing the community together by sharing their experience, evidence, and the fun moments during a paranormal investigation, so that you, the community, can be a part of our journey. Welcome to C&R Paranormal Podcast. Welcome back to the C&R Paranormal Podcast with your hosts,
Chris
and Ryne. Today we have a special guest with us, Alfredo from Spectre Investigations and Paranormal Society. How's it going?
How's it going? How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
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 So,
we're gonna get started with some questions. So we want to know, how did you get into the paranormal field?
How I got into the paranormal field? Well, officially got into the paranormal field about under a year ago, in fact. But as far as paranormal happenings, I've always had experiences throughout my life and never really tried to look into it. But what really drew me into going into the field itself was I had undergone some surgeries on my shoulders, so I had time to sit at home and do nothing. I found a couple of YouTube channels based off of paranormal investigations, like Paranormal Quest, Amy's Crypt, several others. And I followed those channels and I found it fascinating. Love the gadgets. I'm a tech guy myself. I was really intrigued by it, and I figured all these things that happen throughout my life, things that I've always had questions about, questions that grown-ups were afraid to answer for me, and now since I'm a grown-up, I can find the answers for myself. So I figured, what do I need to do to get into this field?
mm-hmm.
So following those channels, went online, took some online courses on paranormal investigation, and it went from there. I got in contact with a friend of mine as well, whose name is Tony Caudill. He's a member of our team. He is a member of what used to be called Quad City Paranormal, but now they go by Ghost. And I asked him for advice on how can I, go on an investigation. And he ended up introducing me to their team. And from there, I got my foot in the door, and it's a big shout out to them to helping me actually getting officially started on investigations.
So what? So are you recent? What year did you start?
Officially, it'd be this year.
This year?
It'd be the beginning of this year. I set up my page. I set up accounts. And I started taking as many courses as I can on anything paranormal. Took courses on investigation, demonology, parapsychology, Wicca, witchcraft, tarot. I've always read tarot for several years. I've always been an intuitive person, empathetic, and I've always had this sixth sense about type of abilities that always made you question, if there's something more. I also still continuing education. I'm starting to take courses on numerology. So anything paranormal, anything with the occult, anything I'm soaking up as much information as I can as a sponge, and going on investigations with teams like yourself and Illinois Paranormal Research Group, and just getting out there, even on my own, I've been able to learn so much more than what we see on TV nowadays. It's nothing like it is on TV.
Oh no.
Which is a big surprise, And I'm happy that way, because the TV got me into wanting to get into investigations, but actually getting into it, I got to learn this is the real side of how to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
We're not seeing demons every time or coming across demons or anything like that. Sometimes we just sit there and there's nothing going on.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like all like the demonology and like tarot cards and all that. I think that stuff is cool to see and not that I've seen demonology, but like heard about it. But
Well,
yeah,
demonology is just the study of demons, and particularly the 72 demons that King Solomon had. There's even a book about it called the Goetia, which is really like deep into, what demonology is. It not necessarily. I'm not conjuring demons. I'm not like worshiping anything like that. It's a study of demons. That's all it is, and the histories, and the mythology, and there's so much out there that we just don't know. And the study of demons is a fascinating subject, in my opinion.
so Damian Smith. I don't know. I think it's to you, Alfredo. He says, "When did you start experiencing things? When did you first say this isn't my imagination?"
Oh, that is a really good question, Damien. So I would have to say I have an early memory of, I want to say it was before I was born. And it was a question I would ask my folks, well, what does this mean? Why do I have this memory of someplace it was so extravagant, and they couldn't give me the answers for that. I've even joined different part of religions to ask them the same question, and I couldn't get the answers. And it just stuck with me because it was so vivid, and I can still remember every detail to this day, which I won't go into detail now, but it's still something that I'm still finding, trying to find answers for. And in 1993, this is actually the first time I'm going to publicly say this. In 1993, myself and my family were sick with mercury poisoning, and I was very close to death. And it caused me to have hallucinations that seemed very real and very vivid. And those things have never left me. A lot of things were able to be explained through actual medical and psychological professional doctors, but there were things that were still left unanswered that there's no explanation to. And of course, in the paranormal field, usually when someone has like a near-death experience, it brings them closer to being able to see the other side of what's on the other side of the veil. And that's what I think. That's how I had my first experience, was even before I was born, but in 1993 was like a big leap for me as well. That's a good question, Damien. Would you class an alien entity, spirit, or a demon or otherworldly entity? I know there's, how do I say this? I know there's different subjects in paranormal, whether it's cryptids, alien, UAP, spiritual, demonic. I feel like we may have all this data and information from years of study, but we still know nearly nothing about what it could all be pertaining to, especially with the information technology, the information that's out there now, how we have so much access to it. It's hard to tell what is what. So you'd have to really analyze it and ask yourself, how could we categorize it? Or if we've been categorizing everything correctly. I feel like the field is always evolving, but as long as there's many experts in the field that can help detangle those knots, those bundles of like what is, how to classify things, it's a good step forward to better understanding what is out there.
So I think our next question is, what would be your favorite location you have been to so far?
Ooh, favorite location.
Oh,
I would have to say Riverside Cemetery is my go-to. For one, there's no cost. Two, it's such a large cemetery, beautiful cemetery for going on walks. It's very peaceful, very tranquil. Three, the view, especially over at the Vele family plot where it overlooks the Mississippi and I-74 and the park's right underneath. And then the pauper section of the cemetery. My first recorded investigation was at the pauper section of Riverside Cemetery. And those are on YouTube, still up, able to see. You guys can see how I first started out using Ghost Tube from Amy's Crypt. They have their own application, and I was running it through the Gambit and testing things out. And I do have a video of that on YouTube. That should be my first video. I've had wonderful experiences there. So I would say Riverside Cemetery would be my favorite place.
Riverside Cemetery.
Yep.
I think for me, it's for me anyway, it's Edinburgh Manor, just because I've said it in the podcast so many times. Hit by that door. Oh, oops.
So is there any other place other than Edinburgh Manor that you've been to that you've had an experience at?
Mine is oh crap. The Rock Island YMCA. When I saw me, Chris, and our now new team member Jody, we were in the the old boys' locker room in the basement area, and we had spirit box going, and it was pitch black. We didn't have our flashlights on, and I was just paying attention to the dark, and all of a sudden I see this tall shadow figure with black suit, black tie, black hat, white face. It scared the crap out of me. We have it on our social medias. You can see me getting scared the crap out of, and Chris yelling at me because they're both freaking out because I saw something, and
Scared us.
yeah, and he goes, well, you're not Zach Bagans. And right as we were leaving that room after I saw that apparition, and it's in that video, but as we leave the room, we're out of the frame. You hear something laughing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the boys' locker room, if I remember, is that down in the basement?
So if you go to I'm trying to think. So you know that big old ramp. So you know where they have the that track.
Yeah.
Track, right? So the loading dock. So if you go down the ramp all the way down, and there's those doors. Not that hallway where it leads to the mirror room, but it's the other doors before you go to that hallway. The other doors, it's in that room where where that happened.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Now I've been there once before in April with a team, and we were down in that area. We felt uneasy. We were able to go into the mirror room and do an SS session using a ghost tube lens and having the spirit box playing in our ear. Nothing too elaborate came from that. But as we were leaving that section, which is amazing that you said you saw something down in that area, was as we were leaving after our session, we were heading back up to our war room, where we had our stuff laid out. And what happened was, as we were walking, Tony and Bryce from Ghost, they were ahead of us about 20 feet. And myself and Spencer were, walking behind. And as we left the mirror room, past the locker room, we were in the workshop, where the whole maintenance workshop is at. As we were walking, Spencer pointed something out. For some reason, we were looking over towards the trash can. And as we looked over, we saw like a little ring. It said there was a key ring. I said it went to a coin purse. No big deal. We went upstairs. So a couple days after this investigation, I just brought that up. A couple days, I was reviewing video footage. And when I saw that part, I captured an EVP of a woman's voice. And she said, "Hello, I'm here." Just as I was pointing out, or Spencer was pointing out, there's something shiny over there and towards the trash can. And "Hello, I'm here." And that it was clear as day. It was a woman's voice, and there were 4 lower registered male voices investigating. So there was no reason why there should be a woman's voice coming up.
Oh, wow.
I got so excited. I showed my wife, I showed my daughter the video, and they were just floored by it. Here's the sad part. I tried to upload that to the cloud, and I thought I had it uploaded. And I made a post about it back in April, and this really bummed me out. I accidentally deleted that footage.
Oh,
So
no.
it's just an experience. It's not actual evidence, but now it's just an experience that we had. So now I can't wait to go back to investigate even further that workshop area. Now, since you said you had that experience downstairs in the locker room, and I caught that EVP, I cannot wait to go back and be better prepared, better equipped to be able to capture it. It kind of felt like the Ghostbusters, the first Ghostbusters, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, what are you going to do when we capture it?" Get her, Ray. I mean, I felt so like out of my league, out of my depths, but it didn't discourage me to the point where I just wanted to give up. It's like, now I have to go back and find out what's going on at the Rock Island Roadhouse.
And now that you're saying, you said it was a lady's voice?
It was a woman's voice, yes.
A woman's voice?
Yep.
I'll have to go back and look at that. We'll have to go back and look at that video, Chris. But now thinking about it, I think the laugh was it sounded like a girl's voice. Or girl's laugh. So, I mean, we'll have to go back to it, but...
And that's already posted on your socials?
On the TikTok, yeah.
Right.
TikTok, Facebook, all of our...
I think it's on our YouTube check too. That out. I'm definitely going to have to go through and check that out. I'm really interested because I want to hear that voice. I want to hear that laugh and see if it matches up. I mean, like I said, I don't have any factual evidence anymore because, I lost that mistakenly, but I'm very curious now. And I could actually have, my daughter or Kendra listen to it and see if it sounds similar to what it was before. We never know.
Damien, are you saying like did you record her or EVP recording?
So what it was, I was taking video with my night vision camera, and I had my lapel mics on myself. I had 2 lapel mics, one on myself and one on Bryce. Oh, here's another thing I could bring up too about that. When I had brought it up, I had lost the footage, and I had asked him, hey, he was recording audio. So I had asked him if he happened to catch anything on his audio. And he reviewed, that time frame of when we were down there, and he didn't capture anything. So that means, because he was further up from myself, about 20, 30 feet in front of us, Spencer and I were behind. That means it was picked up on my microphone. So it was near us.
Oh, wow.
But I was recording video on my night vision camera, and I had the mics, and that's where the EVP came from. We didn't visually see anything or catch anything, but it was like clear as day, like it was like right next to me. Hello, I'm here.
So, I want to take a quick moment to say hi to some people here.
Definitely.
Let's see here. Hi, Courtney. How you doing? Hey, Sparky's Idaho Paranormal. Hey, Cheryl. Let's see here. How's it going, Derek Harless? I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
I also, while you're doing that, maybe we can bring it up a little bit later, had an experience on the 4th floor with other members of the team. Nothing recorded, but we were there with the team I was with, as well as Nick Simons was there on the 4th floor. So when you get time, if you'd like to go over that, I can show you that experience from the Rock Island YMCA.
Nikki Cameron says, good morning from Australia.
Good day.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing, Nikki?
Sorry, bear with me. This is the first time going live on StreamYard. Paul, we're doing great. So, Alfredo.
Yes.
So, how was? What's your thought? What's your thoughts on your first time being at Quarters 1?
I was taken back by the architecture.
The architecture?
The architecture. I felt like I was in the Haunted Mansion. Just the woodwork, the moldings, everything, just especially being on Arsenal Island.
Mm-hmm.
And being at a place where our military leaders stayed. Very interesting. The team that was there, Illinois Paranormal Research Group, I was taken back by their whole presentation. I was like, wow, I wish I had teachers like this when I was in school. I probably would have paid more attention. And it felt like I was like on a field trip when I was there. But
sorry to interrupt you. Did you
Mhm.
when did they do their? So you said they did their presentation with you, Cheryl?
Yeah, they did their for their group for the teens. They did an event on a Saturday, and it was like a community event, which was really cool because being able to see the youth get involved in paranormal investigations with their families, that's amazing. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, being a Mexican Catholic, you stay away from spirits. It's evil. You know, you're going to have the kukui come after you or someone come after you. But being able to see if, you know, families doing investigations together, of course, what draw the younger crowd was Sam and Colby and, you know, stuff like that. So they're drawn in from that crowd. But being able to see an actual investigation and going through how, you know, the right way and the more in depth on how investigations should go, and to see their interest in that, I really wish I would have done something like this when I was younger. But I'm happy to see that there's events like that that go on nowadays.
So when Cheryl, when she showed you the presentation, did anything happen during that? Like any like flickering lights or the like electronics going out of whack, or like when they would press a button on the computer?
I didn't notice anything supernatural, but what happened was, I hope I can mention this. I hope I don't get in trouble, but there was a toilet malfunction during the presentation.
We when we first went to quarters one, when we were doing, when we asked if we could do an like kind of like shadow them and all that, like men, and they're really great mentors. Me and Chris are very grateful. She was showing us her presentation, and I think it was towards the beginning or before she started the presentation, the lights were flickering, and she was going to show their EVPs that they caught, and it wasn't playing for some, like it was. It's hard to explain, but it wasn't working right.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time we joined them?
Yeah, the first time. Because that was, I want to say July of 23, because we started in April.
Okay.
Of 23. And I tell you what, after seeing that, I was glad we did, because quarters one is such an amazing place.
What did you guys think your first time going on the property?
You know, Chris, well, I think of mine. What
for me, as like Alfredo said, it is a lot to take in because how big the house is,
huge,
and the history.
Mm-hmm.
And then the craziest spot I was in was the basement. I thought my very first time. But after being there so many times, it didn't get so
overwhelming.
Should I say, overwhelming, spooky, you know. But after being there so many times like we have, it's enjoyable to do it.
Have you captured anything, Chris, or any of it, like any experiences there, like in the basement or anywhere in the house at all?
When we were there the last time, it was Ryan and I, we did the Estes method upstairs after everybody left. And then I was in the back corner of the room. He was like in the middle. And then we had in the camera, Cheryl's down a command. She saw like this flashlight going off, and we had no flashlight on the ground.
Oh.
We had like a little run pad, but that was not even in doorway where that was flashlight was going off.
Okay. That's amazing. Chris, how about you? That was Chris. I mean, Ryan. Are you there, Ryan? I see his video cutting.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Perfect timing. As soon as the picture came up, I'm here.
I was trying to take a drink of my drink. I was trying to not show it. Anyway, what were you saying, Alfredo?
What type have you had any like major experience there other than the light flickering during the presentation? Like, what was like your first impression when you went there? Your very first time?
Oh, I don't I don't know if I can say, only because it's
Chris is laughing. What's so
arson.
funny, Chris?
I don't even know what he's trying to say, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
I'm trying. I'm trying to be careful because it's the arson. Um, I won't think of that one.
I don't know where he's trying to go with that.
Oh, it happened on the 3rd floor, but just there was that one, and then so the one I'm gonna say is when we were there during the teams event,
Okay.
and we were down. I don't know if you were in the basement with us during that, but we were in the boiler area, and I was like where the tunnels is. So I was right next to the boiler room,
Right.
and so I was looking into that room. I was standing right at the door, and it scared the crap out of me. But I saw something like a white face just pop up right in that boiler room,
Mm-hmm.
and it scared the crap out of me. And Chris was down there, Cheryl, and
you got all of us too.
Eternal Paranormal. I tend to scare people when I get scared.
This was just recently, right? Where I was
Yeah.
there with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing you guys screaming.
Yeah.
I remember hearing someone screaming throughout the
It
house.
scared the crap out of me, and I was like, and it scared the crap out of them, and they're like, what? I was like, I just saw something in that boiler room. A white face just popped up, because I happened to look away, and then I looked back, and there it was.
Okay.
It was in the boiler room by the tunnel.
That's interesting. Now I've got a question for you. Now you mentioned you saw like a white shadowy figure or a white face at the roadhouse, and you saw something similar. Are you saying you saw something similar at quarters 1 as well?
I'm not saying it's the dark, tall black figure with a
Okay.
white face. I just saw a white face at quarters 1. It was.
What are your thoughts on like not just locations being haunted, but people being haunted?
I think it's a possibility. I definitely think it is. But because I've had disembodied voices through video here. When I was little, there was, and it could be I don't know. But I had a dog named Rocky, and I was taking a video. Me and my brother were fighting, and I was telling the dog to not attack, but like, because he was barking.
Mm-hmm.
And it stopped. No TV was on. No windows were open. No door was open. And I lost that footage. I wish I kept it, but it said, "Hey, Rocky." And then after Museum of Lost Souls, which now my mom will know because I'm telling it. But so
sorry, Mom.
I was doing this Snapchat thing with Chris,
mm-hmm.
the video, and I was taking a picture or video of my dogs, and it's the disembodied voice said "F you."
Oh.
And now
that's not nice.
It's like, now I don't know if it's the same disembodied voice from maybe 10 years ago, or but it was a couple days after Museum of Lost Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did say don't follow me after we left the building. Don't
That's
follow
very
me.
important to do. Like, you got to set your boundaries.
But who knows if it didn't listen? But I don't know. I definitely think people can be haunted.
Right. I agree. That's where like attachments come in, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, me and Chris haven't got into that whole. We haven't learned yet, but the whole cleansing after an investigation. So I'm pretty sure me and him have attachments. So yeah.
I know there's some investigators that do take those precautions, having a healer or someone spiritual there to help, protect them as a protector on investigations. And then there's some people like myself will go, this don't do this, kids. Don't listen to this. Don't do what I do. But I go places on my own, which is you don't do that as an investigator, but I take precautions for myself to make sure I'm safe regardless. I've got OnStar, I've got security, like just in case. So that's why I do what I do on my own. But as far as making sure that you are mentally prepared while you're there and when you leave, setting those, you may not come across anything paranormal, supernatural, but you still got to make your intentions known that you don't want any negativity attached to you.
Mm-mm.
And if there's anything there, it needs to remain there. But at the same time, if you're there as an investigator, just want to, is there someone here? Now, if you were to find something there, where would you go from there? It's like, okay, you're here, touch some lights or make a sound or tap on glass. How do we help them move on? Is my question. Like, that's kind of like why I go out on my own, because I don't know why it happens. Probably because I am on my own. I get a lot of activity on my devices, but I always try to cross-check and make sure, and I document what I can, especially with the Ovilus, since it's got like a library, like a log that keeps track of, anything that comes up. I always take pictures of it and then delete it after off the Ovilus, so that way I can start with a fresh new log every time I investigate. And using these devices, I've got one here. I know you guys have got one as well.
Mm-hmm. I like that thing.
It depends on who I'm with when I'm investigating. Sometimes I won't get anything. A lot of times I won't get anything. But when I'm by myself, my Ovilus will want to, say a bunch of words in consecutive succession. Or I would get activity on my millimeter through the REM feature, or seeing the EMF spiking from anywhere between 5 to even I've seen it peak at 36.4 before. I think it was on Facebook when I was live doing that, and there was no electrical, nothing that I could see that would be causing that. But I was by myself, and it feels like I get more activity when I'm on my own than I do with other investigators. If that makes sense. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Chris, have you had anything happen to you or thought that happened? Your question after our investigations that you questioned?
No, I really don't believe so. I think everything happens at the locations.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had anything like follow me yet.
I tell you what, and I don't know what, and it was our only piece of, was it our only piece of evidence, Chris? at Edinburgh. Besides the EVPs we've got,
Up at the door?
yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really catch much that weekend.
I tell you what, that freaked me out more than we were at the YMCA. Like, I wasn't even a foot away, and the only time I touched that door was when I ran, and Chris was yelling like, "What's going on?" And I'm saying I got hit with a door. And we tried debunking that the whole weekend. Could not. The door hold was jammed in it. And even without, the door was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't figure out anything. And I was a foot away from it, never touched the door. The only time I touched that door was when I ran. And recently going back through that video, because we had it, we caught a like a disembodied voice saying, I think it says right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then me personally, before I get hit with that door, because you'll hear me go, did you hear it say no? And it happens in a split second. But right after I say, did you hear that say no? I hear something say in the spirit box, just like watching it and listening to it. It's saying, "Gonna hit you." And then as I'm running, I think actually when I stopped running, you hear something. I showed it to Cheryl, and I'll show it to you. I wish I should have put the video on here, but
you can always show me after this live too.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in seeing this.
But you hear it say, "Are you scared?" or something like that.
Wow.
Like it's faint, but like blowing it up on a speaker, you can definitely hear it. It's like, "Are you scared?" In a female voice.
Were you scared?
Was I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, was I frightened that I didn't want to go back up there? No, but it scared the crap out of me.
I bet. Yeah, these experiences that we encountered, they tend to leave a lasting mark on us, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just those things that continues to drive me to keep asking the questions. Like we were talking about before, I brought it up before at the Roadhouse when I was there with my team, and also Nick Simons. We were on the 4th floor where there's alleged shadow peepers, and they had live streaming through, I think, spiritrealm.net on that floor, on several floors, which is a really cool website if anyone wants to check out spiritrealm.net to look at live feeds of haunted locations 24/7. Check it out. But we were there on the 4th floor, and Nick has been there several times before, so he was showing us around. It was our first time there. And as we were on the 4th floor, down at the end of the hallway, we were sitting quietly, and pitch black. I mean, we even covered any light source that could be reflected that could cause like any type of shadows. We wanted it as dark as possible. So this is how you're supposed to be able to see a shadow person, because they're supposed to be darker than dark. You know, within the darkness, they'll stand out. They're shadow people. Now, I would say it was roughly about 28 feet away from us. We're on one end of the hallway on this corner, and there's this emergency exit at the end of the hallway. lights were covered, so there was no light. And Nick would say, "You see that? Right there, it's peeking its head out." Then there was another member in the group saying they were seeing it. And my wife said she saw it. I've got glasses, so I couldn't see nothing, but I wanted to. So I'm standing there. I'm like, I want to get closer to find out if there's something down there. So we stood there and we're very quiet. And everyone's like, "Oh, you see it? He just moved around to that room over there across to the left." I'm still not seeing anything. So then I asked Nick, would it be all right if I walked towards it? He said, sure. Right before I started stepping towards it, I heard what sounded like something scraping along the walls. As he was describing, it's on the wall. I heard, you know, how it's got like some chipped paint along the wall.
Yeah.
Something rubbing up against that. And I was like, okay, now I have to, I can't see anything, but I hear something. I need to find out what is that noise. So I started going down that hallway. And as I went down that hallway, I made my intentions clear. I meant no harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to establish some type of connection. So I had my back turned towards where the sound was coming from to establish some type of trust and say, I mean no harm, and to show I wasn't being aggressive. And as I was stepping backwards, I stopped between two open doorways, and it was completely dark. And out of the corner of my eyes, I could, you know, see in my peripheral something off to my left. And I didn't say anything, but I was listening to Nick's and everyone else's description of what was happening. As I was standing there, I felt this cold squeeze on the palm of my hand, and then like my hair started to stand up on my left arm, and it felt like something was rubbing up against my left side. I asked down at the end of the hall, where is it here with me right now? My wife said, yes, it's right next to you. Nick said, it's right next to you. And me already knowing which side it's on, I asked, which side is it on? Just to verify if I'm hallucinating. I know it was a 50-50 chance of they could have, you know, guessed, but they said it's on your left. As soon as I said that, I felt this cold breeze all over my left side and over my left ear, and it sounded like, you ever seen those old, like The Ring or the like Ju-on or The Grudge, that like crackling like type of like sound? That's what it sounded like. It sounded like something was sizing me up. And, they said it's on your left side. That's when I was like, okay, there is something there. And I felt something like the hairs on the back of my neck stood straight up, and I wasn't afraid. I was excited, and I was like ecstatic, but I had to remain calm at the same time because I didn't want to startle anything if there was something there. And it was a great experience, you know, for me. Some people say it's nuts. They wouldn't have done something like that, but like for me, it's like the opposite. I need to know, and I need to know for myself. I'm not going to go based off of what someone else tells me. I have to know myself. So I can be kind of like overbearing when it comes to debunking as well, because I look at the logical reasons why something could happen as well. I'm an electrician by trade. I got a bachelor's degree in electronic engineering technology, so a lot of this equipment that we use in the field, I know I have a good understanding how they should work and how they should not. And when I find things that make me question, holy buckets, this doesn't make logical sense. That's when I'm thinking, holy, can you cuss on here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's a possible freaking ghost. you know? And it's the things that don't make sense that I cannot explain that I feel are paranormal that I need to know.
I think so. I know when me and Chris first toured Waverly Hills. At Waverly Hills, they take you to the fourth floor, and you know how the fourth floor is known for. I mean, all the floors are known for shadow play, but this fourth floor is known for. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
No, you're saying it's very popular. It's very well known that there's something on the fourth floor.
And so we were touring it, and the tour guide, she go because I think it was me, Chris, and our investigator Cheyenne. I think it was during that time, but I went to go to. They had an experiment where, you go. They ask for a volunteer, and you go, halfway to the middle of the floor, and you just stand there with your arms winged out, and so I volunteered to do that, and I was seeing stuff in front of me, going back and forth, but the tour guide, I could hear the tour guide talking, and I don't think they could hear me, but she goes, "Do you see that shadow figure by underneath him?" And so I felt like somebody was hugging me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so that was a cool experience, and it just felt like a kid, like if a kid hugs your leg or something, like they'll grab a hold of you. That's what it felt like. And I said, it's been a while, but I told the tour guide that, and she goes, "Yeah, there was definitely something right there because I saw it, the shadow figure." And then we did a public investigation. It was our first actual as starting out as a team, because it was just me and Chris. We had his now wife with us, but she wasn't part of the team at the moment. But it was our first investigation at Waverly, and Chris had a moment down, remember, on the first floor.
Oh yeah, we used to check in at.
So all three of us, we were down on the first floor, and we were getting our stuff ready to set up, and all of a sudden he goes, "Yeah, I can't be down here. It feels off." I don't even remember what you said, Chris.
There was a team doing some Estes method thing, but just with the Estes method. And then I just had the feeling when we got down there, I just couldn't be up there, or down there, so I went up the stairs. It took me a while to go back down the same night. Before we left, I think I went back down.
Wow. Now after that experience, like all the other experiences you've ever had, have you guys ever felt threatened on an investigation before?
Damien, I'll get back to your thing in a second. I've personally, no. For me, no. We've had more calm moments, I think. And I mean, there was heavy moments, but nothing that I would say like mean, nasty, like demon like moments. But it was just like heavy. I mean, more calm than anything. We had mean spirits, but nothing that would harm or anything. So
Now, what like really piqued my interest at the Roadhouse, especially on the fourth floor, Lisa Viner, she had showed us a video footage of an investigation her team went on, and there was a psychic there with them named Derek, and he had gotten
hey, Denise.
Jumped by spirit on the fourth floor, and it did concern my team a little bit because as we were watching that video, he was out, and they had to get him outside and have him fresh air, and they had to draw the line, hey, leave him alone. Now, for myself, I've never had any negative experiences. I would feel times of uneasiness and apprehension. I would sense fear. There'd be times I'd sense anger, but that would always be a mask, if that makes sense. It would be like the surface layer. Now I'm talking about my intuitiveness now, my sensitive abilities, but I've never felt threatened. If anything, it's the living that concern me, not the passed on. That's something that my great grandmother used to tell us. It's not the dead ones you got to worry about; it's the live ones you got to keep your eye on.
Live ones.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to Damien's comment here, Ryan.
Yep.
You said you have seen a floating white face / head. Was it the same head that could be following you, or was it a different both times? That's a good question. I want to, because it was like I couldn't. It didn't. I don't know how to describe it because I didn't. It was just plain white face. It didn't have no eyes or anything. So I like no facial features or anything. So that's a good question, maybe, and I think the same face.
I think he was asking a question earlier too, like what do we consider? It's like shadow people or negative spirits.
Oh,
consider the same thing. Do you consider shadow people the same as ghosts or separate entities? Myself, I look at it like they're their own. Just like we as human beings, we identify as ourselves. I feel like spirits or entities, whatever they want to be identified as, they're their own. As far as anything demonic, I personally don't believe in demons, even though I studied, demonology. I personally don't believe demons exist. I just feel like there's negative or very heavy spirits still among us that need guidance to move on into the next, whatever that may be, whatever next phase of our existence.
Yeah, kind of like just people like us, but
Exactly.
in the after.
Exactly. You get people that are assholes, or you get people that are really sweet. I mean, it's just like anything else. I feel like that takes place on different planes of existence as well.
It's very. Oh, what did he say? I'm sorry. Shadow people peek around corners where ghosts walk through walls. Seems our reality causes more of an obstacle than a spirit that passes through.
Yep, shadow people don't like to be seen. It's very hard.
So let's see here. And then Denise.
And also, there's also white shadows too. They're not just dark shadows, but there's like white shadows as well that like to peek around corners. I did an investigation in Des Moines where there was a family that they would see a white shadow washing
white?
them do laundry.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't encountered seeing a white shadow.
I know white
Figure.
shadows, like they contradict the terms, but like a white mist.
Like a white mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. We did tease our old investigator though on at Edinburgh Manor. we were setting up cameras, I believe, and so me and Chris were standing there, and was it the right moment, Chris, or am I thinking of a different moment at Edinburgh? Because we both saw a shadow figure not run, but like walk past. We were down in the basement. Was that Caleb's doppelganger?
No, that's a different moment.
Different.
That's when you and I were down in the kitchen setting the camera up by the stove, and we're looking at the door because our game was there, and then we just saw something dart past the doorway.
And then there was one moment. Chris, I think I was off somewhere in the building. You were at, was it Nerve Center? When you thought Caleb was in the building, but it turned out he wasn't.
I think we were walking around somewhere.
Oh, but
Yeah.
The whole time I told Caleb that if you see your doppelganger, that means something bad. Just teasing him. But you're like yourself. Like if you see yourself, you tease him. But I said, we saw your doppelganger. You might want to look out. Never felt white shadows. Taught me something I never thought. Yeah, he taught me. I didn't.
And it's not like I know for sure. It's like these are things that we can't really pin down for sure. I mean, we're all still learning. No matter if we're like just getting into the field or we've been in this field for 30, 40 years. It's like it's always evolving. We're always finding something new. Mm-hmm. So it's just amazing.
Denise, every time we go to me or Chris me and Chris, but every time I go to Waverly, I'm like, I hope I don't see my doppelganger.
That'd be terrifying.
It would. You imagine just walking in a location and then happen to glance or something, and all of a sudden you see yourself. Oh, that
sounds like a science fiction movie right there. Like, what if it's a clone? You know, there's like a hidden underground vault where they're like doing human testing and cloning people. That's another rabbit hole. That goes into conspiracy theories now instead of the paranormal. It's just
So are you going to the Rock Island Expo this year?
I'd like to, yes. I still need to get my ticket. I've been putting it off. I know a lot of slots have closed, but I still would like to go to the museum. Mm-hmm. I love that place. I really found that location to be, that was my first official like paid, where I had to pay to go into investigate a venue. And it's an experience. The experience I had there my first time, like I'd love to go back. And whether if it's for the expo or whether if it's an investigation or just to stop in and say hi to Lisa because she's a great person, sweet soul. So I just would love to go back.
Hey, you're coming back with us in
Yes,
August.
in August. Thank you guys for inviting me. I really
You're very
appreciate it.
welcome.
I can't wait, and especially checking out the lower area where we've had our experiences down there. So I can't wait to see now, since we've got like we can narrow down. We got like a game plan. It's like, okay, this is what we got here this time. Last time, let's see if we can replicate that this time, or get something more.
Yes, it'd be a great time. We can't wait.
Sorry about that. Dogs barking. They were still barking, but oh well. The last one is. Oh, it's this one. I bet that was interesting, Denise. Seeing all those. I mean, being in, seeing all the, like, activity and all that, even with the tours.
And I think I saw Denise mention something about
Oh yeah,
seeing
I think it.
people thrown across the room.
The what? I'm sorry.
Comment Denise made about someone being thrown across the room and had a woman's eyes turned black and her head turned backwards.
Where'd you see that at?
It's in the comments. It was at 7 p.m.
Oh, okay.
That'd be some that I wish no harm on anyone, but that is something that I would like to.
We had people thrown across the room, and once had a woman's eyes. Ooh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's something that, like I said, I don't wish any harm on anyone, but that is something that I would be, interested to study and to witness myself.
I mean, it's creepy, but like you said, the experience maybe part would be good
To learn from it.
Not
To better
yeah,
understand.
not to wish anything on the person that it's happening to.
Right.
Um,
I know I get like crazy looks sometimes when like I offer, hey, if there's a dark room or a hallway, crawl space, attic, wherever, a cave you need someone to go into, send me. I will go. I will sit there. I have no problem whatsoever. I would like to know for myself what is going on.
Me and Chris kind of have a thing to where if at our investigations we want to try to get something going, we both tell them to use our energies and not the rest of our teams.
That's very noble. Very noble.
Because we're like, if anything, if you're gonna do something, do it to us, not the rest of the team. And good morning or good evening, Patrick.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I mean, especially if you've got people with you that aren't as experienced or not sure what to expect or how to handle a situation in case something does go south. It's good to have an authoritative figure to be able to know when to pull the plug or when to like call it and say, hey, you need to step outside. That's very important to have someone on your team to be able to stand up and do that. Most definitely. I commend you guys for doing that.
Yeah, we just want our investigators safe, and it's cool because Jody, our new investigator, she says she's empathic, so we're kind of she went with us to Granger, but it was kind of cool to see what I don't know how to explain it, but it was cool seeing how her empathic. Not saying that she's psychic or anything, but
no, I understand. I'm the same. I don't like using the term psychic myself. I could certainly add that to like my titles. I don't care for titles, but as I said, I've had near death experiences. Not just that one time I mentioned in '93, but other times as well. I'm a magnet for it for some reason, and I always came back a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And I use Damien just brought up a good question, which I was about to, just two birds with one stone, with the equipment. Now I do rely on my sensitivities, but because I'm also an educated person, I take my education and apply it towards the equipment that we use in the field. And what I do, what do, what we what we usually do as investigators, we get a baseline when we show up to a property or a venue or an alleged haunted location. We do baseline readings where we check temps, we check for possible airflows through windows, any cracks, leaky faucets, electrical wiring that could be causing EMF spikes. Usually, we like to have no power to the venue whatsoever to help eliminate a lot of that false positive EMF. But we do go around and try to get baseline so that we know if there's any activity like a temperature drop or increase. We know what temperature it's supposed to be at, and if any activity does take place, to see if it fluctuates in any way with our equipment, or if we use laser grids or set up cameras. So we're supposed to do a thorough like walkthrough to see what could be causing possible paranormal activity while on our investigation, so we can eliminate it and debunk it immediately. So we could say, oh, that's just there was a shutter that wasn't completely fastened to the siding of the house. So we know if we hear any tapping in that side of the house or throughout the house, we need to make sure the wind wasn't blowing, causing that noise. We document these things beforehand. So that's something they don't show on TV. It's people walking around getting baselines, writing down numbers of temperatures or times of whatever's going on. That's something they don't show on TV. But that's something that we do as investigators is document.
About set up throughout the house, but we really personally don't use anything. We don't have to hear through. They'll come right out and not care. We like at a recent a couple. So not Museum of Lost Souls, but back in March we went to Waverly, and the whole time. Before I explain, our investigator Jody looks forward to meeting you.
I look forward to meeting you too, Jody.
But anyway, she was with us at Waverly.
I'd love to go to Waverly.
So I don't know what happened to Chris. I guess, but I don't know. I hope he comes back. Oh, there he is. Where'd you go?
Wi-Fi issues.
Oh. But anyway, so we were at Waverly Hills, and going back to that whole thing with, we had on the first floor, which was active for us. It was out of the whole building, the first floor lobby area was the most active. We after our session in the lobby area, the ladies went to go back up to 5th floor, and Caleb went up to the 5th floor, but our old investigator, and me, Chris, and Jody's son went. We just stayed there because we were like, you know what? I mean, we packed up, but we're like, let's just stay down here. And in the lobby area towards in the doorway area, they had 2 chandeliers and they were swaying. Or not like heavy sway, but like where you could tell.
Just
Like,
enough where you can tell.
Yeah. And I mean, it was windy. It was windy, but we were checking all of the airway flow through the door. We couldn't feel any wind in that area. We were checking for giraffes, nothing. And it was when we have a video of it, but we thought that was crazy. We did get in contact with a guy spirit. I think the tour guide said that was there with us during the private, said that they don't know if this spirit, where the spirit came from, and I could be butchering it, but they don't know where the spirit came from. But it's a guy, a male spirit that doesn't like women. So we were up on in that area, and we just thought it was cool that stuff was happening with us. Like, it wanted us 3 to stay. And I think it got a lot. Sorry, I got tired.
No. So are there any places?
He likes women. I was wrong. He likes women.
Oh.
He must not like men, but I don't know. We must have been getting Denise, he said, whoops. What's going on? It won't show. Oh, you were pulling. I'm sorry. He likes to terrorize women. He's an agent spirit named. Oh. We and the funny thing is he was messing with us the whole time. But I think we're gonna wrap this up. Alfredo, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Not very active on there. I need to be. Instagram. I even have a Twitch channel I haven't done anything with. But at Spectre Investigates. I'm sure you've got my Spectre Investigations Paranormal Society page on your page as well. If you click on the link, I've got a link tree. I'll have posted pinned to the very top of my page. So all my socials will be on my link tree. So you just click that and everything is right there. So simple, easy peasy.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you guys for having me so much.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it. I had fun with you guys at Quarters One, hearing you guys' stories. Chris, he's quiet, but anytime he says something, it's gold. Like, you got to look out for this guy. And Ryan, dude, I love your vibe. I can't wait to go with you guys in August, and Jody as well, and look into what's going on at the Rock Island Roadhouse.
Yeah, I can't wait to see if you'll probably get scared when I get scared. Probably. But yeah, it was so good to have you on. We'll definitely have to have you back on again. And for everybody out there that's listening and on our live tonight, you can find make sure to follow Get Haunted on their main Facebook page, their gethaunted.com website, and Extreme Ticketing with an X.com. And And it give Friday night tickets to Denise and Ernie PAX event. That's gonna be cool. I think, but where you can follow CNR Paranormal is Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We do have a website, cr-paranormal.com. And how you can search us is C, the and sign, R, paranormal.com. We can't wait to see you guys on the next one. You guys have a very good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in on the CNR Paranormal Podcast. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. You can also hear this on the Get Haunted main Facebook page, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays. Thanks again for tuning in. See you guys on the next one.